Well, welcome back. Rita Walker is a University of Houston psychology professor and an expert on mental health and suicide prevention.
And she's recently had a one-on-one conversation with the Grammy Award-winning American rapper and activist Common. Dr. Walker joins us this morning to dig a little deeper. First of all, good morning, Doctor. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. It's great to be with you.
Okay, so even before your conversation with the rapper and actor Common, you have had this dedication for mental health, specifically for people of color. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, for the better part of 20 years, actually, I've been invested in trying to understand what are some of the unique stressors that people who are marginalized individuals experience, more like, racism, microaggressions and things of that nature. But also my research has shown that when individuals have, tools and strategies and skills to be able to manage the stuff that happens psychologically, they can avoid crisis. So that's the work that I've been doing for quite some time.
And it's like specific tools for a certain group of people.
Yes.
Essentially. What led to the conversation with Common?
Well, that's interesting because it just so happens that he recently released his book, And Then We Rise, and we both have been working with the folks at Calm. So Calm, for those who don't know, it's the #1 app related to relaxation and meditation and sleep and things of that nature. And so they brought us together because in a lot of ways our messaging is similar. That is, focusing on your health and well-being, and to the degree that each and every one of us has the capacity to manage when life happens, we're able to be psychologically well, but we're also able to live our best lives and connect with our life purpose.
Okay, we have a little bit of that conversation that we want to let you hear. Let's listen to this.
What are some of the strategies that you use to get yourself right back on track, to maybe amplify your own psychological fortitude, or PF?
Well, one of the things that's been helpful for me has been therapy, because it helps me to be more present, meaning like if I'm in a situation and someone is bringing something up, and it may be something that I've been wounded from before, but they're not bringing it up with that intention, and that's not even who they are, what they're doing, but I'm projecting that onto them because of my own experiences and things that I've dealt with and haven't healed. I'm now more aware and try to be conscious within those moments to understand, like, okay, this is not that person accusing me or like really trying to degrade me. This is something that I carry from my past, and I have being able to be present in that way has been a way for me to not always react to situations that may not be what I think it is. So that's a process I have to go through, but it's also having the understanding of what childhood trauma is and things that I personally have experienced in childhood that I bring to relationships, to friendships, to, just to life. And so having that awareness is something that I really have really utilized in difficult situations where I am getting heated. And sometimes getting heated over the small things too. I find myself sometimes just saying, let me take a breath, let me just breathe, and just let me be thankful for something. And when I'm thankful, it's hard to be angry because I can't snap. Can
I say one thing? I've been listening to Common, the musician, his entire recording career. Yeah. And someone who's a leader in the industry, a big name, a voice, again, of leadership, to hear him so raw, to hear him open up that way is extremely inspiring. And I'm not even a person of color.
Yeah, there's a real conversation, right? And you stress that it's important to have a real conversation and share things that make you so vulnerable. That can be scary.
It can be, and it's so important for him as someone who has won a Grammy and an Oscar and an Emmy, and who is accomplished at the level that he has, to basically say, I didn't wake up like this. You know, this is work that he has put in, and he talks about, you know, working with a therapist, not just his chef and his weight trainer, but getting really vulnerable in ways that I think helps, you know, some of us regular folks like, wow, it is inspirational.
But I imagine him as a young kid in Chicago or whatever, not having access to these resources back then, and maybe those families even to this day still don't.
You're right, and it's a good point because he talks about growing up and basically what he saw and observed as a child. So even with his mom taking him to churches and what he observed, that he used that later in life. And that's what I think happens for a lot of us. We get skills, we read a book maybe, but we don't know what to do with the information until the time comes. And I think a lot of folks get really overwhelmed. Like we feel like, I got to do everything now. No, life just doesn't work that way. But we can make small steps. We can make baby steps. And in the end, then we get to a place where we feel like we're more whole. Like, okay, I think I got this. But change can't happen overnight. It just can't.
Okay, doctor, tell us about your 10-part series, Minding Your Black Mind.
Well, I have been fortunate, as I mentioned, to work with the folks at Calm, and they recognize that people from different groups, different cultural backgrounds, have different experiences. And so I first and foremost acknowledge that, you know, and I talk in very real ways about what might have happened at work and what someone might have said that was really inappropriate that you have to smile at because you want your job. But at the same time, what are the things that you do for yourself, you know, throughout the day? What are the messaging, what's the messaging that you counter that with so that you can be psychologically intact? And so, you know, in that 10-part series, I go through a lot of that, but then also for those who may not be subscribers to Calm, I also have a downloadable PDF that's a very brief ABCs of minding your mind, and anyone can access that.
It's beautiful.
Okay. And there's videos that people can watch as well.
Absolutely.
Where can they check you out?
Well, for the folks who subscribe to Calm, that 10-part series is readily available. In fact, I've been told that if you just log on to the site, or to the app, it's readily available. And over time, Calm will be making some of those segments available for free on YouTube.
On YouTube.